Good afternoon, distinguished guests and fellow Taekwondo grandmasters and masters. My name is Norbert Mosch, and I'm very honored to be here in your company. I will try to find a short answer to the following questions from my point of view. Next, please. At first, we will have to specify a definition of what traditional Taekwondo means and how it differs from other forms of Taekwondo, mainly modern competition Taekwondo. I would like to propose the following definition of traditional Taekwondo as a basic concept for this presentation. Traditional Taekwondo is a martial art based on the Konjiam standard techniques. Its goal is to educate body and mind of the practitioner and ultimately to contribute to a better society. Most of us have noticed the great shift of methods and goals that Taekwondo has undergone in the last decades. What has been adored and envied by many when Taekwondo had received the ultimate recognition of becoming an Olympic sport, converted to disaffection and even ridiculousness when scrolling to the pages of social media today. Apparently, something must have happened to Taekwondo in these years between. Next, please. Changes in Taekwondo not only apply to techniques, training methods, clothing, underlying concepts and goals. Without diving deeper in the many differences between traditional and modern Taekwondo, one is safe to say that today's Taekwondo is not the Taekwondo which most of us Taekwondo veterans have been attracted to in our younger days. This is mainly due to IOC recommendations and guidelines to keep Taekwondo inside the Olympic Games. Rules have changed, and so the competition techniques adapted to those guidelines. A major part of this change is also based on the introduction of electronic body protectors, which originally seemed to be a good idea regarding objective point scoring, but created many problems afterwards. Next, please. However, IOC rules and federation statutes are just one reason for the change that Taekwondo has undergone. Like me, some of you may have been international referees and can witness the reformation of traditional Taekwondo into a modern sport. In my case, the first thing that caused me a queasy feeling was when I noticed the loss of respect. The respect between one competitor to another, between a competitor and a coach, and finally the respect between competitors and referees declined year after year. Many of you may know this picture, which unfortunately has been published all over the world. It shows the Cuban player Angel Matos kicking referee Chakir Chedbat in the face during the Beijing Olympics in 2008 after having lost this fight. Even if the Cuban player has been given a lifetime ban afterwards, it is a symbol for the dramatic loss of respect which I witnessed during my times as an international referee. There may be exceptions, and I also have seen some, but for me there remained a feeling that there was too many events in which were not in accordance with the values and teachings that I had received in my younger Taekwondo days. Next, please. Nowadays, many young Taekwondo competitors do not care about traditional values. A dobok is just a costume they have to wear at competitions. A belt is rather awkward and impractical part of that costume too, and their main goal is to get medals no matter how. Their training consists of repetition of techniques that may be useful to score points only, and their mind is focused on finding the slightest gap in the competition rules to give them advantage at tournaments. There may be a justified place for that kind of sports competitions, and the presence of Taekwondo at the Olympics proved that there is. I'm not against sports Taekwondo. However, it should be recognized what it is. It is no more Taekwondo. Let's call it Korean foot fencing or kick fighting or whatever, and I will be fine. Next, please. Traditional Taekwondo, however, includes more than punching and kicking. It develops body and mind. Of course, it is a fighting art, but teaching goes beyond physical training. More important than developing physical skills is developing character and mind. Can Taekwondo do this? Definitely. It needs just the right teacher to do that. I will deepen this a little later. Technically, traditional Taekwondo offers a far broader program than sports Taekwondo. It It includes self-defense, breaking techniques, Pumse, Hamburg chirurgy, and more. While sports competition can be done only during a few years, traditional Taekwondo can be trained during lifetime. I think the benefits of traditional Taekwondo are evident, and the sheer number of Taekwondo people who train using the methods of traditional Taekwondo show its virtues. This leads to the next question. Next, please. How to conserve the traditions of Taekwondo? There is a short answer for these questions. It depends on the teacher. Anyone here who owns a Taekwondo club or school will know this. If you offer competition training, you will raise competitors. If you put your main focus on traditional training, you will have fewer people for sports competition, but students who comply with those training methods and want to dive in more deeply into Taekwondo. Can you do both? I doubt it. At the basic level it may be possible, but not when you take into account the high level of international sports competition. If you want to succeed at sports competitions on a high level, there is no time for doing anything else than competition training. There's also no need to do this if your only goal is winning medals. Which one is better? Which one is the more valuable? You will decide yourself. As we are here to discuss traditional Taekwondo, I assume that all of you have made this decision already. In my opinion, educating the character and teaching a way of life is more valuable than winning medals, even if there can be also an important educational value in sports competition. Next, please. So, conserving the traditions of Taekwondo is foremost the task of the trainer, or let's better say, the master. Because this is also a distinction between sports Taekwondo and traditional Taekwondo. While a trainer prepares athletes for competition, a master prepares disciples for life. When doing so, the most important thing is this: be a role model. Your students will notice any gap between the goals that you teach and your own behavior. They will accept your teaching if they can look at you as a living example for the values and techniques you teach to them. This is not an easy task, because it means that your own behavior will be observed and scrutinized every day. It is much easier if you have found a role model which you can try to follow. I'm sure that everyone has done that. For me, it is Grandmaster Lee Kyo-yun for many reasons, and I'm glad that he is here with us today. Next, please. So, besides teaching etiquette and morality, traditional Taekwondo training is based on Konjiam standard techniques, which also differ from sports competition and even from sports Pumse competition somehow. However, they contain the essence of Taekwondo, and by teaching them correctly, we will conserve the traditions of Taekwondo. Next, please. Lastly, how can traditional Taekwondo benefit mankind? In these times, when secure boundaries and guidelines seem to shatter, it is important to find a strong base of guidelines where one can orient himself to. Values like integrity, self-control, humility, fairness, perseverance are more necessary than ever to guarantee a good life, not only for oneself, but also for others. Traditional Taekwondo will provide those guidelines, especially for the young. It gives them rules to follow and provides character education. To conquer yourself at first, not the opponent, is perhaps the most valuable lesson from traditional Taekwondo training. And this is more necessary than ever if you look at the situation everywhere in the world.
1 minute.
Next, please. While Taekwondo is technically suitable for all age categories, especially children and young adults can be positively influenced by Taekwondo. They are looking for idols they can follow, and the Taekwondo master has a mighty position to fill out this role. Because traditional Taekwondo teaches fighting, which in one form or another is an essential part of anyone's life from the beginning to its end, it is very attractive. At the same time, Taekwondo sets strict rules when and how to fight and how to avoid fight. Next, please. Controlling emotions, reducing anger and rage, calming down one's mind in critical situations are very important in a society where many individuals here have to interact with each other every day. Conflicts are inevitable and there must be ways to solve them without continually battling each other. Traditional Taekwondo offers not only a solution for situations in the dojang or in a competition situation. By teaching morals, etiquette and humility, it educates the mind of the practitioners and therefore it contributes to a better society. Thank you for your attention.